This is the story of 6 years of research and development and 300 keyboards. It's going to outline every single technique and cover the hows and the whys behind what I do currently and what's outlined on my definitive guide. I was at a really tough point in my life, and I went to group therapy, and it changed me. I had always been into keyboards, but I had never had the nerve to open them up and try to figure out what's inside of them. And coming out of group therapy in February 2020, I just wanted to spend my time right, be productive. I don't know how else to describe it. It was a uniquely clear time in my life. I have built every keyboard, every Topre keyboard you could ever imagine, tuned them. I've started out with a modification guide and some products that got me 6.5 years of R&D. Why is Topre the best? It's just the best. It's just the best. The thok sound comes from the upstroke so the dome collapses, you let go, and the dome snaps back. It's awesome. Sounds the best, types the best, feels the best. It's analog. It has all the best features. It's the best. Like, what happened that really triggered the explosion of popularity or interest of my products? I was hand cutting full sheets of neoprene that would act as like a switch gasket. Removing the plate, the housings, and installing this plate gasket was the Eureka moment in why the RealForce RGB types so bad. I realized, oh my god, it types like a RealForce now. People started messaging me, hey, what's that gasket thing that you have? And eventually I had enough people, I can run a group buy for the gaskets, selling 35 gaskets a week. So people were way more interested in the Topre gasket, and I was running Topre gaskets group buys for a while. February of 2021, got the storefront up and running with this. Started with kind of a complete list of parts being referenced in my guide. Do you guys remember the whole shenanigans with the lubed PCB? Yeah, that was me. We'll get to that. Everyone memed on that. If your name's Teha Types and you are asked, should you be lubing the PCB? And he laughs right in your face. How did I perfect the stabilizer? Having it in a syringe and not being afraid to apply the maximum possible amounts. And it was the missing piece. You can look at my first stabilizer tutorial. What I say at the end is that this will get you 19 out of 20 space bars done right. But there's something off, and I'm open to suggestions. What was that missing step? It was the addition of 206 grade 2 in the corner where the bar acts towards the C shape. And so it wasn't until I realized I could add that 206 grade 2 grease to the shelf, that main shelf, before installing the sliders. Do you see how it's just right, the right amount, and it's just in the right position? Not going to impact how the key feels, but it is going to play a major role in ensuring that the 2U stabilizers are always perfect. Once you do that, the stabilizers are going to be perfect. Filling up the rest of the void is just easy peasy. Application techniques for the lubricant. I think that matters. Well, you want every switch to be equal and even. Not only are you trying to get the exact amount, you are also trying to ensure not to get any on the underside of the housing. For a happy acting keyboard here, that's for 58 times 2, 116 rails. That's what you have to do. You have to lock in. The Band-Aid mod. You guys know the Band-Aid mod? I wasn't using Band-Aid material. I was using neoprene. And you can get neoprene in different thicknesses. I was testing how thick I could get away with for the stabilizer spacebar and then the stabilizer bars. And then I did the same thing with the 2Us in Topre. And that's how you got the landing pads. They're superfluous, meaning you don't need to use those. The 2U stabilizers don't really need a landing pad because they don't bottom out that way. What they do is they collapse the dome, and then the dome is only going to collapse so thick, it's not going to really let the slider contact the PCB. That's how all Topres bottom out, by the way. They should never be bottoming out on the plate, and especially not on the housings. The Topre O-rings, I was running into problems of keycaps bottoming out on the plate, and it sounded terrible. And then I bought as many O-rings as I could in that thickness. Only 2 thicknesses were even viable. If I handed you a board with O-rings and my Topre O-rings installed, you would not know. Well, if I take them off, you'll know. What happens is that the plastic on the inside of the keycap, on the way down in a Nova Touch, actually will commonly bottom out on the Topre housing. Those same O-rings on the keycap, they raise the keycap off of the slider. Now there's clearance when the key goes to bottom out, and now has extra height that it wouldn't normally have. It's R&D into what's important in the design of it, into what truly makes the switch smooth when it comes to ensuring that the components are as smooth, because there are sliders that are substantially smoother than others. Purple sliders have a coating on them. Bet you didn't know that, did you? They're the only ones. They have this and that coating is only on the barrel. It's not on the legs. The best I could find out is it's like some hardened PTFE coating that goes through a curing process. It sounds like a lot like what people are doing. Like Omnitype is releasing dry lube stuff. Well, I know exactly where that comes from. That's RO59. And I've been there, done that. It's not the same. But there is some merit to that. There's this coating on the purple sliders that are only on the purple sliders. They're not on the Type S. They're not on the black ones. If that coating was on every single slider, I don't think that there would have been a need to introduce a guide to reduce the scratchiness. So what am I getting at? The smoothness does not come from what we think it does. If you can change the slider's outer coating, if you like unsilenced ones, they don't have that coating. So new black sliders are just innately scratchy. Until they have been polished, that barrel has been polished, it's not. So obviously there's PTFE coating, there's time, using it over time, breaking in would remove that scratchiness. So, I've tried switch actuator machines to break in switches, and I've moved towards applying diamond paste. That's where my studies are right now. If it's not obvious, this guide is free and open. It's always been that way, and my updates are continuous, and the document lives at unrealkeyboards.com. I'll put the first link in the description down below. A lot of people take a look at that guide and go, man, that's more than I thought. There are some other guides that it's odd that some people can come to the exact same conclusions as me, but I guess they must have also done 6 years of research and development to come to the same conclusions, because while I do share my stuff, it is mine. So I don't know if I should be pleasantly surprised and flattered or suspicious of ulterior motives. And all right, I hope this is enough material for you. Talk to you soon, man.